5 minutes past 7 on KSFO. Gerald Celente is a friend. He's a trend expert. He's a visionary. He's a keynote speaker. You see him on all the various networks. In fact, USA Today has said Gerald Celente has a knack for getting the zeitgeist right. The Wall Street Journal has said those who take their predictions seriously consider the Trends Research Institute. He's on the web at trendsresearch.com, and he's got the Trends Journal. Good morning, Gerald Celente. How are you, sir?
Oh, thank you, Brian. I'm great. How are you?
We're doing fine, and we've been looking forward to this discussion with you. You know, Gerald, we have spent, this is what we call a Whistleblower Wednesday on the program, and we're hearing from people who are telling us about the waste, fraud, and abuse, and the slackers, and the scoundrels, and the bums, and the cheats that they've witnessed firsthand as government employees, and it's staggering to see how much money we waste in this country.
Well, the government employees have to keep bringing in money so they could keep having jobs. And that's part of the whole racket as well, because it's, it's screw the people. It's raise license fees on everything. If you go 5 miles over the limit across the yellow line, they're after you. And I was the assistant to the Secretary of the New York State Senate. I used to run political campaigns in Westchester County in New York at a graduate school many years ago. It was the worst job I ever had. Watching grown men suck up all day long and the goofing off. You're encouraged not to think. You're encouraged not to do anything innovative. Don't rock the boat. Welcome aboard.
It's amazing. I'm looking at your most recent Trends Journal, and by the way, just go to trendsjournal.com, and you can subscribe to this wonderful product. Screw the people. That's what you've got on the front cover. Screw the people. And there's a big finger from Uncle Sam, fashioned as a screw, just about to drive into some guy's head.
And that's what it is. It's at every level. I mean, look what's going on with this. I just heard President Obama on Monday night, and he made this statement in talking about the Libyan war. It's not a war. What is it? It's something. A time.
A kinetic military action or something like something that you would treat with an ointment. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. He said, He began. By the way, in his speech there were 22 I's. I've made it clear that I will never hesitate to use our military swiftly, decisively, and unilaterally, when necessary to defend our people. Oh, that's okay, Our homeland, that's good. Our allies and our core interests. When did allies and core interests enter into this thing?
Right.
And the fact being, going back to the government and their attitude, they will do anything that they want. And all the employees are just pawns in the whole bigger scheme. They're running the show. We're working for them. I love it when these politicians, they call themselves public servants. Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. We're the servants. And they're the ones, look, go through the airport. You know how to get harassed. You want to have a lousy day, go through the TSA. So this is what's going on. Yeah, it's great what you're doing out there, exposing this fraud, because it's everywhere. Listen, I have a parking lot right across from my building over here in Kingston, New York. It's a county parking lot. There's free spaces in there for the people that want to go park in there, but they're reserved spaces. They're reserved spaces for the county workers. Oh, they don't have to go looking for parking. Like, I pay a spot for my employees to go park because there's never any parking space. But the county workers get free spaces, and why not? Because after all, Brian, they are better than we are.
Right. Exactly, and that's the point we're trying to make, and you just gave us a wonderful illustration. Now, Gerald Celente, you were talking about the situation in Libya, and I know you are known the world over for your trends and the forecast thereof. What are we doing in Libya, and what's really happening in the Arab world? Is this a move towards democracy?
No, it's and again, as you well know by the Trends Journal, we forecast this before it would happen. Here's my saying. When the money stops flowing down to the man on the street, the blood starts flowing in the streets. And what you're seeing going on in the Middle East and North Africa, that's all it's about. You have educated people, students, with university degrees in worthlessness that can't get jobs. They're living in Egypt. And by the way, our executive editor, John Anthony West, landed in Egypt 2 days before the uprising and was there throughout the whole time. And so one of the issues is that, and he says it all the time, you have a country of about 83 million people. Under the best conditions, it could support 30, 40 million. And the corruption at the top. So that's what's going on in every country. They're living on, depending on whose numbers you look at, Brian, they're living on between $2 and $10 a day. Food prices are at all-time highs. Corruption's everywhere. And you have mass unemployment among educated people. They're angry. Now, why are we in Libya? If their major export was broccoli, you think we'd be there? I mean, let's get real about this. Let's look at Bahrain, right? Oh, they've got a wonderful time over in Bahrain. The same day, by the way, that the headlines read that the United States attacked 25 killed in Libya because of the Libyan government killing their people. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 40 were killed in Bahrain. 50 were killed in Yemen. Mm-hmm. But nobody talks about that. Why not? Hey, couldn't be because the Fifth Fleet is in Bahrain, could it? No. And it couldn't be because that guy Saleh in Yemen is a chief operative on America's war on terror, and they have bases coming out of Yemen. No, that couldn't be why we're not going into Yemen or bashing Bahrain. Oh, and how about those people down in the Ivory Coast, Brian? As we speak, over 1 million refugees, dozens getting slaughtered every day. But their major export of cocoa beans. So who cares if the price of chocolate goes up a little bit?
You've hit it on the head, as always, Gerald Celente. Now, let's continue this discussion with Gerald Celente from the trendsjournal.com. That's just a great place to go. You need to subscribe to his wonderful periodical. It's a brilliant and fascinating journey into trends. This is something he's been doing for a long, long time. Gerald, in just a moment, let's talk about the Middle East again in those terms and try to connect the dots between oil and intervention. We'll do that with Gerald Celente on KSFO. The Trends Journal, go to KSFO.com, and under our morning show blog, we show you how you can subscribe to this wonderful magazine. This is put together by our good friend Gerald Celente. Economic trends, business trends, consumer trends, entertainment trends. This is what Gerald Celente does, and he does it very well. Gerald, it would make sense that we would be over in Libya for reasons involving oil, but could you tell us exactly, connect the dots better for us? That's just a broad generalization I'm making, but focus in on that for us for just a moment.
Well, again, why are we in Iraq? Why aren't we in all these other countries? And let's, I keep hearing this, Brian, about the rebels. It's right. Funny, when it's in a country that you have an enemy, they're insurgents, militants, and terrorists.
Right.
But when they're your guys, it's the rebels.
Right.
And then I keep asking, who are the rebels?
Yes, and who are the rebels, Gerald?
Well, the rebels that we've found so far consist of 3 different groups. One, there's been tribal differences since Gaddafi overthrew the country some 42 years ago. And there have been tribal differences for centuries. And on the east, where the Benghazi, that's where King Idris was from, who he overthrew. If you go back and remember when all this first happened, you know who the people started appearing on CNN? It was the monarch's family. Relatives from that strain were the ones that first made the scene. Okay. So is it payback for that? Number 2, is it a military coup? Because there's also reports out that the guy that's heading the Benghazi operations, military operations, has been living in the United States for the last 20 years. And right near, by the way, CIA headquarters, and he had fallen out of favor with Gaddafi and found refuge in the United States. So is it a military coup? Or is it just a bunch of young people that are up in arms? So those are really the 3 areas to look at: the monarchist, tribal differences, The student thing, of course, is real to an extent, but they're not the ones really behind this.
What about we hear about the Muslim Brotherhood, we hear about Al-Qaeda?
That's the other one. I forgot that one. That's very true, by the way, because according to WikiLeaks, isn't it funny, by the way, how all the media came out against WikiLeaks and keeps using them all the time?
It is amazing, some of the finds in the WikiLeaks.